Heading to Las Vegas to catch the action at Allegiant Stadium? Skip the traffic and the sky-high room rates of the Strip. Book your stay at the South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa. The South Point is located just 7 miles away from the stadium, and it's a quick trip up the freeway, making it an affordable rideshare or taxi ride. And don't worry about getting here when you land in Vegas. We offer a convenient airport shuttle to get your getaway off to a stress-free start. Shuttles are also available on Raider game days for a small fee. So whether you're rooting for your team or seeing your favorite band in concert at Allegiant Stadium, South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa is your ticket to all the excitement.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world.
Ready to bet smarter? Get sports betting tips straight from the South Point Hotel and Casino.
I like the Commanders at 3.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
The Wise guys were all over Florida last week, and they're against Florida this week. That's not a common pattern.
I think these teams could score a lot. I would look at the over.
I'm very high on Tampa Bay. I think they can go there and they can win this game.
Subscribe for free to Sports by the Book on YouTube. Your winning edge starts now.
Here we go. Happy Tuesday, everybody. A packed show for you today on Sports by the Book. We are live from the South Point Hotel and Casino, live in Las Vegas. A lot to get to today. Looking through the schedule, we have a Game 2, NLCS. We have sides, totals, updates, where the movement has been. Looking ahead to Week 7 in the NFL. Top 10 in college football, updated after this past Week 7 from myself and Sportsbook Director Chris Andrews. We've got 3 football games to break down for you and 8 hockey games to touch on. I'm excited. It should be a good one here. I'm Alex White. I'll be your host for Sports by the Book. Before we get to all of that, I ask that you please hit that follow button on YouTube. Thank you if you are watching live. Jump in the chat as well. We'd love to hear from you. And please follow our social medias. It's at Sports by the Book on all platforms, and it's at Sports by the Book LV on Instagram. Give those a follow. Andrew and company and everybody behind the scenes works very hard to get our reels and our videos out daily, so you want to see those as well. Now, before we look ahead to today's action, we have to recap what happened yesterday, and I'll tell you what, it was one of the better Mondays. 2 really good football games, 2 really good baseball games, depending on the sides that you had. Hopefully people cashed some tickets, but still exciting nevertheless. Let's bring in our producer / co-host. Ryan's going to go over these games with me and help me throughout the show, going through all of that I just mentioned. So, Ryan, let's start with the NFL. I know you're happy. 2 underdogs win outright. What'd you think of the games yesterday?
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, the game that started early was a Bijan Robinson show. Absolutely picking up or running all over the Buffalo Bills defense, getting 170 rushing yards. And yeah, the Falcons ended up winning that one easily, 24-14, even though I liked the over in that one. You liked the under. We got 21 points in the first quarter, which looked like it was going to go over, but you got your second, third, and fourth quarters to keep you under there. So good win for you.
It looked like that was going to fly over.
Very much so, yeah.
I was watching that live on Cofield and Company, and I was like, this is probably a bad bet I gave out there. But defense really was the name of the game, and second quarter and on. But you're right, it was a lot of Bijan Robinson in that one. The second one.
Yeah, the defense stood up for the Bears at the 3 minutes to go in the game, forced the fumble, or I guess the rain forced the fumble. Jaden Daniels gives the ball up. The Bears recover a fumble and are able to kind of run out the clock and kick a game-winning field goal. They have now won back-to-back games with a final score of 25-24. It is the first time that a team has won by 1 point with the exact same score in back-to-back games since 1926. I forget what the team was actually called. I think it was the Yellow Jackets or something like that. But yeah, 1924 was the last time that had happened.
Overall, your impression on the offense and what you saw from Chicago after the bye week?
I mean, coming out hot, going up 13-0 early after turnovers, didn't exactly capitalize the way we should have, and some penalties that may or may not have actually been penalties. We can agree to disagree. But ultimately, it's winning last night's game was a culture-changing win. If they lose that game, players lose confidence, and you're never going to build that back. The regime change then gets questioned of, are we ever going to get over the hump? Is this organization cursed? But that changes on the foot of Jake Moody with a game-winning field goal, and it's a good day to be a Bear fan right now.
I'm glad you brought up Jake Moody, of course, cut from the Niners earlier this year, so it was good to see him have that moment as well with the Bears. So really good games, though. No complaints there. That would have been one of the Mondays that would have been nice to have a legit doubleheader so you could watch both of them in full instead of kind of going back and forth. But let's go to some baseball, starting with the early game. You were correct. You said the Mariners.
Yeah, we also liked the under, but yeah, we'll go with the side on that one.
Yes, that is true. I might have even talked you into that, but you liked the Mariners. You said they were going to win this series and they were going to have that momentum. A lot of home runs in that one. Julio Rodriguez, 3. Blue Jays answered back, 2 in the first, 1 more in the second. But then, Jorge Polanco, he's really been the MVP these last few games, and he had a 3-run home run in the 5th. And then it was all Mariners. So really good game there, especially if you didn't have the under, and just for a high-scoring baseball game in the playoffs that we don't see a lot.
Yeah, and Jorge Polanco with timely hitting. He's batting under 250 for the postseason, but RBI single in Game 4 of the ALDS, and then Game 5, the walk-off hit, and then 3-run homer last night. So Jorge Polanco with timely hitting in order to help this Mariners lineup. But that lineup is just so deep. Julio Rodriguez showing up with a homer and not necessarily needing Cal Raleigh to do things with his bat. But yeah, dominating win by the Mariners, great showing, and now get to go back to Seattle with a 2-0 lead.
Going back to Seattle, and that's what we talked about yesterday. It's going to be tough now for the Blue Jays. I do see George Kirby should get the start tomorrow on Wednesday for Game 3, but to be determined for Toronto still. So we'll keep an eye on that. We'll break it down tomorrow here on Sports by the Book as well. Now, the pitching duel for the NLCS with the Dodgers and the Brewers. I will say, though, the Brewers had some chances there in the 9th. Just couldn't score any guys enough to tie it up or take the lead there. Dodgers win 2-1. Crazy double play in that game as well. But I like the Dodgers with Blake Snell. He was outstanding once again. There's a lot of crazy stats with him. And just in that game alone, he went 8 innings, 1 hit, scoreless, 10 strikeouts, no walks. But I'm with you now. I mean, to see what the Brewers could do in the 9th, I think that I'm already kind of leading to what I like today. But I think, especially with that double play, all of this happening, I think they got a shot to win this series. I really do. So now it's sitting at plus 360. That's a big number here on a good Milwaukee team. What were your thoughts? Are you still leaning to the Brewers to take this series?
Absolutely. I'm doubling down. Still like the Brewers to win this series. I think last night was just Blake Snell showing you that he was that he still is the dominant starter. He's a Cy Young caliber pitcher. And that's all it is. And you need the starters for the Dodgers to go that deep in order to win this series. If they get to the bullpen, as you saw in the 9th inning, they very well can collapse. The Brewers they had 2 total hits in the game last night, 1 hit in the 9th inning, but they still had bases loaded with a chance to tie the game and walk it off. And even if Bryce Terang wears that pitch, they get a hit by pitch to tie the game, and we might be seeing extras or a possible walk-off there. So if the Dodgers need the length from their starters. If they're going to get 6, 7, you need 7. Honestly, you can't be throwing more than 2, 3 guys in your bullpen, because that bullpen is not a top-tier bullpen, and the Brewers will be able to put bat on the ball.
I'm curious, so I'm trying to look at the schedule right now. Game 2 tonight. Game 3 will be Thursday in LA. Game 4 Saturday. Looks like, did I miss one there?
I think it should be Thursday, Friday.
Thursday, Friday. Okay. Thursday, Friday. I'm curious if Blake Snell, when we will see him again, because you're right. The fact that he can go 8, and maybe that changes once they see him a second time. But going to an OptiStats tweet that was sent last night, since ERA became an official in both leagues in 1913, only one MLB pitcher has had a 6-start span at any point, regular or postseason, with a 5.0 or better record, sub-1 ERA, 50-plus strikeouts, 15 or fewer hits allowed, and that pitcher is Blake Snell over his last 6 starts. So he is going to be the toughest part for Milwaukee to get over this series. But any more thoughts on either of those games, or even NFL from last night, before we jump into tonight's baseball game, which I'm really looking forward to?
Not necessarily. The bats from the Mariners are very much alive and well, and the bats from the Blue Jays aren't necessarily doing so. Not consistently enough in order to put runs on the board to combat the Mariners pitching. So the Mariners bullpen was one of the best in all of baseball, and you're going to have to be able to put bat on the ball and beat them.
I am impressed with Seattle, because they have found different ways to win already throughout this postseason, and it looked like nobody was really going to be able to shut down the Blue Jays bats. And through 2 games, you're right, Seattle has made it very difficult for them. So we'll break down that game tomorrow, but let's look ahead to tonight's game. What is the current line here at the South Point that you're seeing?
Currently, we've got the Dodgers as the road favorite, -125, +110 on the Brewers money line, and the total is at 7.5 with juice to the under.
Ooh, sitting there at 7. We saw 2-1 yesterday final. Looking at the pitchers that we have going today, Yamamoto and Freddie Peralta, I'll tell you right now, I do like under 7. Could be a little bit scary if Yamamoto does not make it very deep into this game. He was outstanding to finish the regular season, one of the best pitchers in the league. And then we saw a little bit of trouble there against the Phillies. So I'm a little bit concerned for Yamamoto going into Milwaukee and pitching against this lineup. Against the Brewers earlier in the year, and I said it already, the second half Yamamoto was much different than the first half, and he really turned it around. But he did see the Brewers once, and he didn't make it through a full inning. Took him out after 2 outs, 4 hits, 5 runs, 3 earned, 2 walks, 1 home run in that one by Andrew Vaughn. So I'm a little concerned that this could be a mental hurdle for Yamamoto to get over as well. Freddie Peralta on the other side. Dodgers have seen him quite a bit, 139 at-bats, batting .216 average, .288 on-base percentage, and a .669 OPS. So that, ultimately, I think that is pretty good. And I like what I have seen from Freddie Peralta overall this year. I'm leaning to Milwaukee here as the home team, getting a plus price. But I definitely do like that under. I think it's going to be tough to get there. It looks like we just had people are betting it over too. So might 7.5. I don't think it's going to get to 8. I think I'll go under 7.5 here.
Yeah, I think I would be right there with you. I think it's going to be the same kind of battle in the first 5 innings, to where it's going to be a pitcher's duel, and we might get a 0-0 after 5 again. But once we hit the bullpens, it's at least for the Dodgers, all bets are off. This Brewers lineup, I think, just got mowed down by Blake Snell, and that's all last night was. So I think their team total tonight is at 3.5. Let me make sure on the South Point app, but I would be looking at the Brewers team total over to wake up from last night. Even though Yamamoto is a bona fide ace in this league,
Yes.
I do think once we get to the bullpens, if the Brewers can chase him out before the end of the 6th, I would like the Brewers to go over that 3.
I like that as well. I do think they're going to be able to put some runs on the board. We've seen it all year from this lineup. We really have, even against some of the best pitchers. Any thoughts on Freddie Peralta on the other side? Do you think he'll be able to shut down this Dodgers lineup enough, and do you think he can go deep into this game?
I mean, yes, I would love to think so. Thinking the Dodgers or Brewers are going to win this game. And he did do enough earlier this year. But again, the Dodgers are so deep. That lineup is so deep. It's going to be a difficult task to shut them down with just how many veteran all-stars that they have. So it's hard to say that they will shut them down, but granted, I did say that I do think this will be a 0-0 game after 5. So Freddie Peralta is very capable, yes.
Yes, and has been very good at home this year, so that is a slight edge there too. Plus 110 if you like the Brewers, minus 125 on the other side if you like the Dodgers to take game 2, which would be just like Seattle. Then they'd get to go back home and be up 2 games there. So I do like the Brewers backs against the wall to tie this up before going to LA. Let's go to our Total Tuesday that we do every week, and we're looking ahead to the NFL. Giving you updates on where the lines are, sides and totals. We do have totals now that have been out, and we'll kind of tell you where the lines have moved to. So this Thursday, I actually did see a funny tweet here that said the 2 unks would be playing each other because we've got Joe Flacco up against Aaron Rodgers. Steelers at Cincinnati. Pittsburgh is a 5.5-point favorite. Total has been bet down from 43.5 to 42.5. Maybe it is going back up now at 43, which we see right here on our lower thirds. But should be an interesting one. I think we'll find out a lot about the Steelers here if they are real. 4-1 coming into this game.
Yeah, and I think Mike Tomlin might have poked the bear a little bit. Not saying Joe Flacco is a bear, but questioning whether the GM's rivalry tendencies in trading a quarterback to a division rival just before they played division rivals themselves. So Mike Tomlin, yeah, just a little shot there, questioning Joe Flacco. That's all. But then going across the pond, the Rams taking on the Jaguars. The Rams are a 3.5 favorite. That stayed steady from the opener, but the total is at 45, down from 45.5, which it opened at South Point.
2 teams that are both 4-2, so it should be a pretty good game for them across the pond. But you never know with that travel. We saw last week that was a slow-moving slugfest there. Next up, an important one here for the Raiders. They get their first home win, but 2-4, last in the division. The Chiefs, right now, they're second because the Chargers do have the head-to-head. Chiefs are 3-3, laying 12 at home. We know the Raiders play them tough, but still a double-digit favorite here. Total down to 45 from 45.5.
Yeah, and then we'll go back to the AFC North. The Browns hosting the Dolphins, the 1-5 Dolphins versus the 1-5 Browns. Cleveland is a 3.5-point favorite now, up from 2, and the total stayed steady at 45.5.
That's pretty wild there.
40.5, excuse me.
A 1-5 team is being bet from a 2-point favorite, kind of moving all over the place. 2, 2.5, and 3. I can't really say I blame them, though. The Dolphins are quite a mess. Mike Vrabel gets his return here, going to Tennessee. Of course, Brian Callahan no longer the head coach. They will have an interim there. Titans 1-5 hosting the Patriots. And New England, lane 7 on the road. That number has been bet up from 6.5 to 7, the total 42.
Yeah, we talked about it yesterday as soon as we got the news, but I've already laid the 7 with the Patriots. I think Vrabel goes in with the Titans being completely lost as an organization. Granted, you made the point, players buy in when coaches get let go, but with the revenge of Vrabel, and him buying in, and Drake May is now a top 10 in the MVP voting, or not voting, but pricing.
Yeah.
So I already laid the 7 with the Patriots, but going to a different 1-5 team, bottom of the NFC South, the Saints are on the road in Chicago. The Bears opened a 5.5-point favorite, went down to 4.5 before last night's game, now back up to 5.5 after last night's game. The total has stayed at 45.5.
Next up, the Eagles 4-2 at the Vikings. We're still unknown. We know J.J. McCarthy did practice yesterday, but we don't have a definite answer of who will be the starting quarterback for Minnesota. This one's interesting. The Eagles were 2.5. They're taking the points with the Vikings. Now they're a 1.5 favorite on the road. Total has been bet up from 42.5 to 43.5. I think we have seen the Eagles defense slip up a little bit here, so I do understand that as well.
I think the wrong team is favored there. Even though it's a question of J.J. McCarthy and Carson Wentz at quarterback for the Vikings, the wheels might be falling off for the Eagles, and if they don't get them back rolling soon, granted, it is early in the year, but things could get ugly with that locker room. But going to a team that has yet to win a game, and their locker room surely can't be any good, but hosting the Panthers this week, Panthers at Jets. Carolina is a road favorite now after it opened. Jets -1, Carolina -2, total at 42.
It is, it's cool to see. The Panthers used to just be a feisty bad team, kind of like the Saints. They're more competitive than expected. Carolina's 3-3. I mean, I think they are the deserving favorite in this matchup against an 0-6 Jets team. But we will see. I know you could say that team backs against their wall right now. New York needs a win very badly. Let's go to the Colts and Chargers. What a matchup here. 5-1 Indy, 4-2 the Chargers. They need a win, especially with the Chiefs starting to turn the corner here, especially offensively. Chargers went from a point favorite at home to a 1.5, and the total 48.5.
Yeah, and then staying in the AFC West, another team at 4-2, the Broncos hosting the Giants. The Giants coming off a win on Thursday Night Football. They're going to get a long week before going to elevation, but the Broncos, 7-point favorites, total stayed at 40.5. No movement at all there.
So Broncos traveling back home, but get to stay home. Don't have to go on the road after their international game there. Washington and Dallas Commanders 2.5 down to 2 after the loss yesterday. The total moved from 53.5 up to 55. I think we're going to see all Dallas Cowboys totals being bet over. Cowboys, of course, 2-3-1 on the year.
Yeah, and that one, the Commanders are going to be going into that one off a tough loss, division game on the road. I think the Commanders are going to be hungry to win that one. And the Cowboys, embarrassing loss last week. Really embarrassing season so far. Worst defense in the NFL. So I think the Commanders are going to be the side to lay in that one. But going to our state neighbor, going to Arizona, the Packers on the road at the Cardinals. Packers now 6.5, up from 6, and totals at 44.5.
Let me see. Are we starting to see 7s already in this one? No, it looks like it's still 6.5. Curious though. Don't know Kyler Murray, but I think they proved that they could move the football with Jacoby Brissett as well. Still, the Packers, we'll see. Defense should travel here, but still the question marks with the Packers. Not quite the dominant team we saw in the first 2 weeks. Sunday Night Football, this should be a good one here. Niners from a 3-point favorite to a 2-point favorite at home, hosting the Falcons. Atlanta, very impressive win last night over the Bills. Total 47.5, up from 45.5 where it opened here at the South Point.
And then we've got another Monday night doubleheader. 3 NFC teams in action, 1 AFC below 500 team. But it's supposed to be we're supposed to be in playoff contention to go into the year. But first one's going to be Bucks at Lions. Detroit is a 4.5 favorite, and the total is at 53, up from 52.5.
You're right. Looking at these 4 teams, it was expected the Texans here sitting at 2-3 were almost a shoo-in in that division to be in the playoffs. Seattle was a big unknown, but they are sitting here with a 4-2 record. They are a 3.5-point favorite at home against the Texans, and that has been bet up from 3, and the total has been bet down from 42. Now it sits at 41 for the final Monday night football game. That's it for our Week 7 update for the NFL. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, we have our top 10 for college football. We've got 3 college football games, and we've got 8 hockey to get to. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Are you ready to lock in your bets and cash in on the games this weekend? Join Jeff Parles and Alex White.
One of my favorite plays here is getting 2 touchdowns with Florida State.
Even though the total's been batted down a little bit, I still think it's okay to go under.
Chris Andrews and Vinny Magliulo.
I don't think this is a great Kansas City team that the Chargers win this game.
All right.
If you see a hook here, it's not going to last long.
The wise guys are certainly not going to play the favorite.
Every NFL matchup, every college game that matters, the spreads, the stats, and the smart money plays.
Are we sure either of these quarterbacks are good?
Hell no, we're not sure.
Bet your winning edge with Football Frenzy, streaming live on YouTube every Friday at noon Pacific.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Ready to bet smarter? Get sports betting tips straight from the South Point Hotel and Casino.
I like the Commanders at 3.
I know if it hits 7, don't blink. Maybe that's what bettors are waiting for.
The wise guys were all over Florida last week, and they're against Florida this week. That's not a common pattern.
I think these teams could score a lot. I would look at the over.
I'm very high on Tampa Bay. I think they can go there and they can win this game.
Subscribe for free to Sports by the Book on YouTube. Your winning edge starts now.
All right, a lot of college football to get to. We've got top 10 updates after that Week 7. After I go through my top 10, Ryan will read off Chris Andrews. Make sure and follow Chris Andrews on Twitter as well. Football Frenzy, of course, every Friday. That is from noon to 2. He's been crushing it in college football, and he tweets out all of his contest picks as well. So give us all a follow there, please, and join us on Fridays for our Football Frenzy, one of our favorite shows. We go through as many college football games as we can, and we go through the entire slate of NFL and what we like for the week. All right, let's get into it. My top 10 for the week. A lot of movement here for me, and I'm sure we'll see it from Chris and others as well. Number 1, Ohio State, and now they have even further pushed themselves above the pack here. They've allowed just 41 total points this season. It's the fewest through 6 games since 1975. Their defense is elite, and their offense is slow, methodical, and they are mistake-free. I think Ohio State is the best team in the country as of right now. Number 2, Alabama jumps up from number 3 for me. Ty Simpson, one of 4 quarterbacks in the FBS to throw multiple touchdown passes in each game this season. I thought last week could be a little bit of a sleepy spot. And I know it is a conference game, but coming off of 2 physical, emotional games before the Mizzou game, it came out a little slow. It looked like it had the making of the same thing we saw with Florida State. They went right down the field And then the defense really stepped up in that one, and they found a way to win and cover depending on the number that you got. They won that one by 3. Number 3 is Miami, Florida. They were there last week. They stay right there. Real challenge. Or I shouldn't say real challenge. Their last real challenge will be this Friday, and they are a 14-point favorite over Louisville. So that tells you the rest of their schedule, we won't really have a good idea until we start seeing if they make it to the conference championship or the playoffs, how good this Miami, Florida team really is. Oregon moves down to number 4. I know people might disagree with my 4 and 5. Indiana just beat Oregon in Oregon, but I did have Oregon 11 at home versus Indiana. I don't want to overreact. Clearly, the Hoosiers were the better team, but I adjusted about 3 points each way. Now I would make Oregon a 1.5-point favorite on a neutral, so that is how we get to this point right here. Indiana goes from 10. They barely made my top 10 last week, and now they come in at number 5. I think this team is legit. I think Kirk Cignetti outcoached Dan Lanning. They had 326 total yards to 267, and their defense was outstanding. Oregon was just 3 of 14 on third downs. So there they are, number 5 for me. Number 6, Texas Tech, big mover for me as well. They were number 9 last week. In their 3 conference games, they have scored 111 points by allowing just 38. We've talked about their margin of victory, and they continue to impress. This Texas Tech team does. Number 7, I have Georgia, and these next ones are very close, but I do have Georgia 5-1. I know there's a lot of controversy with that Georgia-Auburn game and the calls all going Georgia's way, but in the second half, when it mattered the most, Georgia was focused. I think it says a lot about Kirby's culture. They found a way to win and scored at the end there to have a nice 10-point victory over a good Auburn team. Number 8, I do have Texas A&M. Did they bump back a little bit? I think I might have had them 6. I love this team. I think they are good on both sides of the ball. I think they're good in all 3 facets, but the other 2 just kind of moved above them here in this spot. So here they are at number 8, and they did lose their leading rusher, Le'Veon Moss, at least for significant time. So that is why those other ones kind of moved above them, because I did already put that into my number. Notre Dame, same thing. I have them very close to Georgia A&M and Texas Tech, but they lost their center, who played all 6 games so far this year, and he is out for the year. I still really like this Notre Dame team, but I did put that into my number as well. Their 4 wins were by 119 points, so this is a very good team. Their 2 losses were by a combined 4 points. So don't sleep on Notre Dame just yet. And number 10, Texas sneaks back in to my top 10, 4-2 record. Big win over Oklahoma. And we still have a lot to find out about this team. John Mateer was not 100%, but still, we've known this defense is very good all along. And that was a good win that Texas really needed, that could be the difference maker to turn their season around here. Arch was 21 of 27 for 166 yards and a touchdown. So we will see. It is a long season still, especially for those SEC teams that now have to all play each other. But that is my top 10 now going into week 8. Ryan, you have Chris Andrews for us.
Yeah, I've got Chris's ready, but you've got a lot of love for the Texas schools, 3 of them in your top 10, and Chris has a lot of love for one of them specifically, having them at number 3 in Texas Tech. Similar, number 1, Ohio State. I mean, they are very much the best team in the country right now, and should be power rated wise, and you and Chris are right there similarly. But he does have the number 2 power rated team in the country as the Indiana Hoosiers. Went on the road and won at Oregon this past week. And are sitting atop the Big Ten standings right now, which actually, if you are watching us live and have yet to vote in the poll, we have a poll today. Which undefeated team will not be atop their conference standings by the end of this week? We've got the Hoosiers facing Michigan State, Georgia Tech at Duke. They are a road underdog. Ole Miss at Georgia, also a road underdog, and BYU in the Holy War hosting Utah. So go ahead and vote in that poll if you haven't already, but getting back to the top 10. So we've got Ohio State, Indiana, Texas Tech as Chris Andrews' top 3, those undefeated teams. And then Alabama at number 4. He's been very high on them this entire year, has not moved them out of his top 10. Even though they lost in week 1, they've remained in his power rating top 10. Oregon falls for him, goes to 5 after their loss to Indiana. Miami also falls, even though they did not lose, but the Hoosiers jump. Miami falls a little bit. Notre Dame at 7, just as you said. Notre Dame has those 2 losses, yes, which are blemishes on the schedule, but by a combined 4 points. And another stat about that team, their 4 wins against in those 4 wins, they have held each of those teams to beneath those teams' average score by over 25 points each.
Wow.
So it kind of varies by opponent, but at least 25 points, those opponents are being held beneath their season average. So Notre Dame's defense stepping up against the opponents that they have beaten so far this year. Texas A&M, similar to you, at number 8. I love the Aggies. I love Marcel Reed, but they did, yes, lose their running back. So at number 8 for Chris Andrews. And then he has been high on this team all year. Jaden Mayava, then the USC Trojans at number 9 for Chris Andrews. They were out of the top 10 last week with some other players. Ole Miss in neither of your top 10s. Now moving out of both of your top 10s, I'm assuming because of how they have played against Washington State. Granted, my brother does go to Ole Miss, so a little bit biased, but I do hold Miss at a little bit higher standard, and understanding that they had Georgia on the schedule this week on the road and on the road next week for Oklahoma. Very, very obvious look-ahead spot for them last week against Washington State, so I'm not looking too much into that. They'd still be in my top 10. But anyway, Chris Andrews here at number 9, USC, and number 10, he does have the LSU Tigers sneaking back into his top 10. Someone that you did not have in yours, Alex, but another SEC team in the top 10, which the SEC, if we go to the prop here at the South Point of which conference will win the national championships, the SEC is still the favorite at plus 110, getting a plus price now. Let me get that back. Yes, plus 110, the Big 10 right behind at plus 120, ACC at 6-1, Big 12 at 8, and the field, Notre Dame, at 14-1. If you are looking at that, I would more so play Notre Dame to win that championship. But we can talk about teams specifically here in a second. But Alex, any thoughts on that conference one?
That is so tough for me because, yes, you did mention how many SEC teams are in the top 10, but the top 2 are in the top, are both in our top 3s, and those are both from the Big 10. So I think I would lean that way. I mean, right now, I don't know what Ohio State is for the odds on, but I imagine it has to be a pretty good number. They've been there. They've done it. Even with the new format, it would not shock me if they went back to back. But there's a lot of good teams that have something to say about that. That's for sure. Good point about Ole Miss, because we talk about the look-aheads, the letdown so much. And then we also talk about, this team's coming off a bye. They're going to be ready to play. Well, what about coming off a bye and having a sleepy spot where you take a little bit of time to wake up? And that's what we saw from the Rebels. I actually have, which is funny, my next 3 are all tied with USC, LSU, and Ole Miss right there. So, and like I always say, I mean, it's a 0.5 difference when we're in that portion. So a lot of good games this week. I can't wait to see what we get from USC with Notre Dame. I don't have a play on it. I think that number is correct at about a touchdown for Notre Dame, but USC was impressive against Michigan. And that wasn't just outscoring them. I mean, they battled in the line of scrimmage against a good Michigan team. So let's see if they can do it. Here we go with our odds to win the College Football National Championship. Ohio State is what, Ryan? 3-1?
3-1, yeah, the clear favorite. Alabama and Miami right behind at 7, Georgia at 8, and then Indiana, Oregon, Texas Tech at 10.
Wow. 3-1. If you like the Big 10, it's plus 120, so you're getting them. I imagine Oregon's still going to make it, and Indiana, so you're getting 3 of them.
Yep.
It's about right there. And then Alabama, 7-1. Not bad. Is that your top SEC school right now, or is it the Rebels still?
Power rating wise, it is Alabama. top to bottom, of all three phases, their defense I think is a lot better than Ole Miss's. But Ole Miss's offense, if it becomes a shootout, I would love to see Ole Miss be able to put it up. But I don't trust their defense as much as I trust Alabama's.
I'm with you there. It'll be a big test this week to see what we get with the Rebels and the Bulldogs.
Absolutely.
Because Georgia really can't afford to lose another one, but Ole Miss is trying to keep their undefeated record here. So we'll get through those as the week goes on. We do have Bruce Marshall joining us tomorrow. Usually has more of the games off of the top ranked ones, but we'll go through a few with him as well, those top games. So looking forward to this week. And then, as I mentioned, Football Frenzy on Friday from noon to 2. So join us then with Chris Andrews, myself, Vinny, Ryan, and the whole crew. All right, we've got 3 college football games. I wish I had plays on any of them, but really these midweek games are pretty tough, and I like a lot of chalk, so that scares me. Midweek games can also be kind of quirky. They're standalone. My dad always says, you know, those Thursday, Sunday night, Monday nights in the NFL with the professionals, they know everybody's watching. Same thing kind of goes here for these smaller schools where they're not just playing on a Saturday slate. So a lot can happen in these games. We'll still go through them. I still have some thoughts. New Mexico State and Liberty, we'll start there. Conference USA, Liberty's been a little disappointing this year. New Mexico State, they're still in a building process. Jerry Kill went over to Vandy with Diego Pavia, and Tony Sanchez has been the head coach there now for 2 years. Been a lot more competitive. Last year, he finished the year with 3 wins for his team. This year, they have 3 wins. Of course, an easier schedule. Now they're getting into conference play. So here's the number. Liberty, 11-point favorite, total 46.5. Liberty just 2-4. Jamie Chadwell's team. They were 13-1 in his first season, 8-4 last year. I will say, though, this conference is getting more competitive. And then, of course, their quarterback, Ethan Vasco, has been in and out, dealing with some injuries throughout this season so far. Numbers don't look great, but this is kind of the theme of the day about right here. He's completing 57% of his passes. You'll hear that a lot. A little over 1,000 yards, 6 touchdowns, 3 INTs, 7.8 yards per attempt. I do like that. That's very good. Can also use his legs, 173 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. On the other side with New Mexico State, it is Logan Fife. He's been here. Numbers are down a little bit this year, completing 57% of his passes, 1,272 yards, 7.4 yards per attempt, 6 touchdowns, 4 INTs for him. But overall, for the year, New Mexico State, they're averaging 23 points per game. Liberty, just 15.2. Looking at the yards per play, pretty even, 4.8 to 5 for Liberty. Looking at the defensive side, Liberty is the better defense, holding teams to 23.4 points per game, and New Mexico State 27.8. Both of them right there, 5.7 yards per play for opponents. Against the run, though, New Mexico State's been really good, and Liberty is a run-heavy team. They're running 60.5% of their offensive snaps. So far, New Mexico State holding opponents to 4.2 yards per carry. Now, you got to take into consideration strength of schedule, and New Mexico State hasn't really played any run-heavy teams. So, overall, I think this number is pretty good. I actually made it a little bit higher with Liberty, 12.5 here at home, but I'm not really interested in laying that with a team that just has 2 wins, even though they're coming off a really good one where they did look a lot better. 2 more on the slate. Let's go to the Sun Belt. Arkansas State, South Alabama. Now, South Alabama is the favorite here at home, and if you're just looking at records, that's probably pretty confusing because this team is 1-5 on the year, and they're 0-2 in conference play, but this team is a lot better than that record shows. If you watch our Football Frenzy, you probably remember this play because myself and Jeff and Chris, we all like South Alabama against Auburn. Playing an SEC school in their state. And I liked the over because I thought this offense could get some points there, but did not get to the over. South Alabama did cover as a pretty big dog against a good SEC team. Bishop Davenport is the quarterback, completing 64% of his passes, over 1,000 yards, 9 touchdown passes, 4 INTs, 187 rushing yards, and 3 touchdowns. This is another team that likes to run the ball again, over 60% of the time. I like that. I like those teams that are well balanced. So I told you I had a lot of chalk today. I do like this one of all the favorites because backs against the wall. They're 0-2 in the Sun Belt. If they lose this one, their season's pretty much over. They've got to get a win in conference play. Arkansas State is a very good team, though. 2-4 on the year, 1-1 in the Sun Belt. Coming off a really good year last year for Butch Jones. 8-5 was their final record. So trying to get to a bowl game again this year, I am sure. Jalen Rayner is the quarterback, another 67% passing completion percentage. He is 148 of 221. That is leading the conference there. 1,451 yards, 8 touchdowns, 4 INTs, and 4 rushing touchdowns as well. So 58 is the total. What did I make that 58 right there? My dad's got it a little bit higher. Kenny White's number is 62, so a little bit of a lean to the over for him. Do think we'll see some points, but if South Alabama can control the game, which they are the home team, might be tough. They might try and keep their offense off the field. So that's the one favorite I am going to play. Last but not least, the third game that we have going back to Conference USA, Florida International, Western Kentucky. Western Kentucky, double-digit favorite here at home. Total 55.5. I think all of those numbers are just right. I think Western Kentucky is by far the better team. I mean, even just looking at FIU's defense so far on the year, opponent points per game, averaging 37.8, 6.2 yards per play, 7.4 opponent yards per pass. So I think this Western Kentucky offense is going to be able to get going here. Maverick McIver is the quarterback for WKU, completing 68% of his passes, 151 completions, 1,700 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 2 INTs. He is leading the conference in almost all metrics there for Conference USA. So they've got a great quarterback. I like Tyson Hilton, the head coach. On the other side, it's just been a struggle for Willie Simmons' team in Florida International. So I think the numbers are right, though. I'm not going to jump in there. Maybe in game, if Florida International finds a way to score first, then we could jump in on Western Kentucky. But I will just say 16. They're averaging 16 points per game. That's going to be tough to score first in that one, especially with Western Kentucky on the other side. So maybe that is the best number we're going to get there with Western Kentucky. That's it for those three. 3-0 Western Kentucky, 0-1 in conference play for FIU. That's really it for those three, though. We're going to take a quick break. I'll get the whiteboard ready. When we get back, Ryan's going to tee up some hockey. We're going to go through those, see if we like any plays, either one of us, sides or totals for the National Hockey League, and then we'll show the whiteboard. But thanks for being with us here. We got 15 more minutes, and then we got plays for you today on this Tuesday. We'll be right back.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world.
Checking in with the chat here on this Tuesday before we get to our hockey games, and then we will get to our whiteboard plays of the day. 2-1 yesterday. What was my loser there? Oh, Toronto first 5 minus 130. So of course the one where I laid the most juice. But as Ryan said, I got there with the under in that crazy football game somehow, and then Minnesota Wild got there with an overtime win for us. Chat. Dean Hilt said the Dodgers look good until the 9th. Bullpen questionable. It's kind of where we're at right now. Dean, both lineups are really good. You can't deny that. Jern, welcome back. We saw you in the chat yesterday too. When does Josh Allen get rid of Sean McDermott? Is his question here. JR says pictures Ohio State not making the Big Ten championship, but a big playoff run. That would be very similar to last year, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't make it to the Big Ten championship. It was Penn State and Oregon. They actually lost to Michigan before that big run. And that's what I do like about this era now, because if you look, a loss can do a lot for a team. And if you see what Alabama, how they have turned it around, we'll see what happens with Texas. The wheels fall off. Penn State, Clemson, it takes some time, but others really learn from that loss, and you get a better version of their team going into the postseason. Brian said leaning Rangers in hockey today over the Oilers. They definitely have the goalie advantage. Not saying Stuart Skinner is bad. I'm just saying Igor Shesterkin is one of the best, definitely, in the league. So I would say that's a lean for me as well. All right, I think that's it for the chat, Ryan, unless you saw anything else that you wanted to mention before we get to some hockey games.
I guess the one thing that I could mention when we were talking college football and you mentioned the Liberty game, JR said, give me liberty or give me death, but with a question mark. And that's definitely more of a exclamation. Give me liberty or give me death. So that's...
Say it with some passion.
Yeah. But right there with Brian, we will go right to NHL, and that Oilers-Rangers game is the first one we'll talk about.
Yeah, Rangers at home, too, hosting the Oilers, Stuart Skinner. I will double-check. Let me pull that up, because when I wrote my notes yesterday for the starting goalies, they were all projected. I just want to make sure that they are confirmed, and we have that as well.
Well, going into this one, the Oilers have 2 days of rest. They last played on Saturday against Vancouver in a 3-1 win. But this is their first road game of the season. So they're going all the way across the country to New York, starting their first road trip. The Rangers last played on Sunday in a 1-0 loss to the Capitals at home. It's their 4th game in 5 days. So those boys have the rhythm of hockey, and they're coming off of a loss at home. So that combined with the road trip across the country and first road game for the Oilers, I am leaning there too. I'm going with the Rangers on the money line here.
I'm with you as well, especially at that price, because I think this is a little high for the Oilers to start the season. I think it should be a pick 'em here, really, for the Rangers. So getting a plus price with the home team, I like it. Plus, Ryan, good point, 4 of 5. Later on in the season, we're going to be talking about that, and it's a really bad thing, right? And they're tired, but it's the start of the season, so right now they're just trying to get in rhythm here. But so it looks like we're in agreement with us 3 on the Rangers here tonight.
Do you like anything on the side there? Totals at 6 with juice to the under.
Ooh, I think that total's right at 6. That's where I made it as well.
Okay. Well, the next game we'll talk about is also 6 with juice to the under at Tampa Bay on the road after playing last night. So they're on a road trip now in Washington. Tampa Bay won yesterday early in the day at Boston 4-3. They led the whole game, kind of got tight towards the end, but it wasn't really a close game. Washington last played Sunday in that 1-0 shutout win on the road at New York.
Washington already has been an under team to start the year. Logan Thompson, Vasilevsky on the other side. So I do lean to the under 6 there. And I know it is scary because you just mentioned it, 4-3 final for the Lightning yesterday. But that's the only way I would look at this game is getting a flat 6, getting the under. I've got it closer to 5.7 here for that one.
I like that too. Okay, going to the next one. Another one on the East Coast. Nashville at Toronto, both playing back-to-back days. Nashville is on a road trip. They won at Ottawa early yesterday, 4-1 4-1 final. That was a tight game for almost the entirety of it. Going into third period, Nashville added 2 empty netters to bloat the score to 4-1. So that game was a lot tighter than the final says. But Toronto, back-to-back home games. They lost yesterday to Detroit 3-2. They were down 2-0 early or in the second period. Came back, but gave up the game-winning goal with 45 seconds left. So emotional loss at the start of the season for Toronto, but both on a back-to-back.
Geez, that makes it very hard here, right? But with that all being said, I think $1.80 is just a little high for the Maple Leafs already in the season, where we don't fully know what this team is going to be. On the other side, I think the market's really down on Nashville, where they were extremely high on them last year. So I think there's a little value there in that plus 160. I don't know if I want to jump in fully for them to win outright, but I don't like laying the $1.60 to get the puck line there. So it would be a Nashville small bet or pass for me.
Yeah, I don't fault you there at all. Nashville has the veteran leadership. They have the guys in the locker room to where they can do it, and Toronto is missing pieces. They lost Mitch Marner. They're going to have to kind of figure out the semblance of how that offense is going to go this year. So I don't fault you at all for taking a chance early in the year. We did see 6 outright dogs win yesterday in the 10 games, so wouldn't fault you. Nashville being one of them. Wouldn't fault you for taking a chance here. But going to the next game, staying in Canada, Seattle, Kraken, both teams on 2 days rest. Kraken at Canadians. Kraken last won in overtime against the Knights at home. This is also their first road game going across the country as well, similar to the Oilers. The Canadians last played Saturday again at home against the Blackhawks, 3-2 win. On the road in Chicago. This is the Canadians' home opener against the Kraken.
This one, I don't have it quite as high for the Canadians at home here, but it might be higher on Seattle than the market. So I'm going to stay off of it. I do think that they should be a favorite. So there's not enough for me to jump in on the other side with plus 130. I think without the straddle there, I would have minus 130 and plus 130. So no value really for me. And 6 right there, I think that's correct too. Any feel for that one for you?
Well, I mean, just kind of the home opener point is kind of the ones I'm trying to make in these days. Because yesterday I went with the side of the Panthers going into, I forget where they went into yesterday.
Where were the Panthers? That was a big one. Yeah, Flyers.
Yeah, against the Flyers, yes. But I made the point because the Panthers were 3-0 going onto the road against the Flyers in their home opener, and the Flyers still need to kind of figure things out after a failed year last year. But home opener and having games under your belt already. I know your dad had made the point previously that when teams have played games and then they get the emotion of going, if they're already doing somewhat well playing games on the road, go home, have your fans being emotional with it, excited to have the season start. I do think these home teams should have the edge in these games today, especially with those teams in Edmonton and Seattle making the trip all the way across the country.
Right.
So I do like the Habs in that one. Another game in Canada, the Knights on the road in Calgary. Both teams last played on Saturday in losses. The Knights on the road in Seattle, 2-1 loss. This will be the final game of this road trip before they come home for 11 straight days, playing 3 games and 11 days at home for the Knights. And Calgary faced a multi-goal deficit against St. Louis. Let me take that back. Calgary last played against St. Louis in a 4-2 loss. Calgary has faced a multi-goal deficit so far in every game this season. They overcame a 3-0 deficit in their opener against Edmonton, came back, but ended up losing in the shootout or winning in the shootout. So again, facing a multi-goal deficit in every single game so far this season for Calgary.
This is tough, right? Just kind of going off of the spot, what you just brought up for both teams. Pretty fortunate to get that one against Edmonton, and now we've seen the Flames kind of struggle. And then Vegas, you're right, last road game. Are they eager to just get back home? Do we see their best effort here? I know myself and you and Vince have been talking a lot about the slow start for the Knights. I mean, if you were going to take a shot on Calgary, it might just be first period or wait in game. If the Flames do score, you can always get a better number on the Knights.
Or even go in with Calgary facing a multi-goal deficit and the Knights struggling early, taking the under in the first period.
There you go.
Be a way to go. If you don't think the
I
Knights are
love
gonna
that.
get going.
That is perfect. It is 6. I think that's pretty close. But first period, I like first period under 1.5. You got Aiden Hill and Dustin Wolf. We've talked about both those goalies being very good.
So it could be a very good way to go in that one. So, but another team on a back-to-back is the Minnesota Wild, but this time going from at home yesterday to now on the road in Dallas. Win last night against the Kings for the Wild in a shootout 4-3. Traveled overnight to Dallas against a team that's rested since Saturday and had a road win in a shootout against the Avalanche. This is now the Stars home opener. So Stars, a almost $2 favorite, -190 against the Wild here tonight.
And I think that number is correct. They do have the Stars power rated very high coming into the season. That'll be a tough spot, and it looks like they're going to have Gustafsson play on back-to-back nights, is from what I'm seeing. He is expected. Gustafsson, Jake Ottinger on the other side. So it's a big number. I wouldn't really want to lay that price right now to start the season. Maybe take a shot on the puck line with the home team, though.
Yeah, I'd be with you there. The home team, or home opener emotions and that stuff. Them playing well, coming off a shootout win in Colorado.
Yes.
The emotions there. So, but now going to San Jose, supposed to be the worst team in the league this year, hosting the Hurricanes. Both teams last played on Saturday. Canes were at home against the Flyers, 4-3 win in overtime. This is their first road game going all the way across the country, but gaining 3 hours. So if the Hurricanes players have that internal clock of later in the day, they should be just fine. But the Sharks last played Saturday in a 7-6 overtime loss against the Ducks, in which they blew the game. They should have won that game. Back-to-back home overtime losses for the Sharks coming into this one. So Hurricanes, $3 favorite, total 6.5, juice to the under.
That is brutal. Back-to-back overtime loss, right? Yeah, because they're 0-2 right now. So I don't want to do anything in this one. Tough to make a case for either side. The Canes are always going to be a huge favorite like this. Frederik Andersen playing really good again. So it's a pass for me.
All right, and then the final game that we have for you today, the Pittsburgh Penguins on 2 days rest, going against the Ducks, also with 2 days rest. The Penguins come into this one off a 6-1 loss at home against the Rangers, and the Ducks come into this one in that comeback win against the Sharks, that 7-6 overtime win. This is also the Ducks home opener, but they are a favorite at home, -140. Total is sitting at 6, juice to the over.
Penguins have a ton of injuries already, or they did coming into the season. So that worries me. They're already playing kind of above expected, 2-1 to start the year. I know that was a big game for the Ducks, but I do like them at home here for the home opener, even as a $1.40 favorite over Pittsburgh. So that would be a lean. Still kind of following hockey, though, for at least another week or so before really giving out big favorites, but taking shots with some dogs, that's for sure. Can you repeat which team's home opener?
Which team home opener?
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got the Montreal Canadiens had a home opener against the Kraken. We've got the Dallas Stars home opener against the Minnesota Wild. We've got the Ducks home opener against the Penguins. And then just first road games for you guys. First road game for the Kraken, first road game for the Hurricanes, and first road game for the Oilers. Good.
Very good stuff there. I am going to put the Rangers on my board too. +120. And then that is it for us. I'll get my whiteboard ready. Ryan, will you run through our trivia? It's a good one today too.
Sure.
The great ones.
Yeah. So it is a hockey question. So on this date in sports history, October 14th, 1979, Edmonton Oilers' Wayne Gretzky scored his first career NHL goal against the Vancouver Canucks. Of his 894 career goals, which team did Gretzky score the most against during his career? And the answer would be, of his 894 career goals, the Great One scored almost 9% of those goals, 79 goals exactly against the Arizona Coyotes, which are now the Utah. Well, I guess the Coyotes' history remains in Arizona. But anyway, the organization moved to Utah. So no longer the Arizona Coyotes. But the Vancouver Canucks, the team Gretzky had the most points against, were the team in second. He had 76 goals against the Vancouver Canucks. And then for our poll, which we had you guys vote in, which undefeated team will not sit atop their conference standings by the end of this week? Number 3, Indiana. Number 15, BYU. Number 5, Ole Miss. Or number 12, Georgia Tech. And the result is that 40% of you think that Hotty Toddy goes down in Georgia. Ole Miss will not be atop the SEC standings at the end of Saturday.
Now I have to double check. Was that the only one that is an underdog?
Georgia Tech is also a road underdog at Duke.
Okay.
Yeah, they're small underdog, 1.5, I think, here at the South Point.
I actually like them in that spot against Duke, getting the
Tech,
points there. And I don't want Ole Miss to lose, but they're almost a touchdown.
Yeah.
Dog, and I do think that number is correct, but we will find out.
Did you happen to see Lane Kiffin's press conference yesterday?
No.
So I guess he and Kirby Smart have a good back and forth, but somebody asked him about their kind of on the sidelines during games, how many calories they burn going up and down and being emotional and all that kind of stuff. But Lane Kiffin made the joke that he was walking by a TV and saw Kirby Smart's press conference, and he doesn't think he's burning many calories
on
the sidelines. So I don't know if that'll be bulletin board material for Kirby Smart and his boys, but Lane did later mention that he does have a good back and forth with Kirby, and has poked fun at his weight before, so it's nothing new. And I guess he felt like he was okay to do that.
Right.
So maybe it won't be too much, but Georgia boys could get fired up about that.
I don't know though. I mean that first half was scary for what we saw against Auburn, because they were struggling, and Ole Miss is better offense than Auburn. So we will see, but that's really funny. Lane Kiffin's lost a lot of weight though in the last few years. So, okay, that's it for us for today. Let's go to our whiteboard. Ryan had a few leans. You might have to go back through if you want to see what those were. We started off from the top with baseball, went through college football, and then hockey there at the end. Dodgers Brewers, I'm going to go under that 7.5. I think this number is just moving too far up now. I think it should be the 6.5 where it opened. So you're getting a full run value. I do trust both pitchers here with Yamamoto and Freddie Peralta to at least hold them down. I believe that is one that Ryan was going to give you though, because he's not going to go full game. He doesn't trust the Dodgers bullpen. Ryan's going first 5, right, Ryan?
Yeah. Under the 4 in the first 5 is my favorite play in that game. So
man, 4 It moved to 4, huh? Because I saw 3.5. Now at 4.
With the juice. Yeah.
We're both leaning towards the Brewers. I put it at the bottom here because I'm going to take a shot with a couple dogs. First, an actual play, Rangers plus 120. I really think that they can beat Edmonton here at home. And then my 2 long shots here, taking the Brewers long shot plus 110. But we know it's the Dodgers, taking them to win the game. And then I'm taking a little bit of the Preds plus 160 against Toronto. Small place.
What we can also do there, Alex, is we can put together a Chris Andrews special in a 3-dog roundy. Go Brewers, Rangers, and Predators.
I do like that.
All plus underdogs.
Yes. Just really got to hit 2 out of 3.
Yep.
Very good. All right. That's it for us for this Tuesday. We will be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Same spot. Find us on the YouTube channel. Hit that follow button. Follow our social media. Bruce Marshall will join us to go over some college football, looking ahead to week 8. Thank you, everybody behind the scenes. We got the trivia brought to you by City Light Shine. We got the poll, and we checked in with our chat here. So thank you, Vince, for keeping us up to date on that. We'll see you guys again tomorrow. Thank you. This has been Sports by the Book. We are live from the South Point Hotel and Casino.